You can't be with someone every single step.
Welcome to the We Got Problems podcast with co-hosts Curtis G. Martin, Rhonda L. Brown, and Caliph Johnson Sr., the one and only podcast where solutions get discussed to our community's everyday troubles. Each week, you will hear mind-blowing conversations and actionable tips and strategies that you can implement in your daily life to become more effective. We got problems and we got solutions.
All right, you guys, welcome to the show. This is We Got Problems, a podcast. I'm Curtis G. Martin here with my co-host, Rhonda L. Brown.
Hey, everybody.
My second co-host, Caliph Johnson Sr.
Peace out. How y'all doing?
Hey, you guys, in this episode with just us, man, we're going to talk about today rap lyrics being used by district attorneys to send people to jail. What do you guys think?
I don't think it's fair. But I also don't think I think it'll change rap as we know it.
It's already changed some of the lyrics that I've heard come out. They've a few artists have put warnings in their lyrics about some of the things. Be careful about some of the things you're saying because you can be indicted for it. So yeah, it's already put a precursor on some of these artists as it already stands.
So the bad part about it is that when rap first was introduced to us, a lot of people was telling stories of things they saw, of things they knew, things that was around them. And then now it's more to where guys are saying, if you don't do this in your song, I'm going to do this. So they implementing themselves within those lyrics and actually acting out crimes or talking about unsolved crimes. So a district attorney is saying, when I hear this is an unsolved crime, and you're talking about details that only the crime scene should know.
If you're talking about it, you're bragging about doing something of that nature, why shouldn't you be prosecuted for it?
Yeah, no.
I'm a big fan. We talking about hip hop here. I'm a big fan of hip hop. One of my favorite artists had the best line of all time. He said, "Hold your artists accountable for what they say." And if you don't want to be held accountable for it, don't say it. Period. So that's not like a knock to anybody who's talking about glorifying, walking down and spinning and doing anything they want to do in the music. But the reality of it is, hold your artists accountable for what they say.
No, I definitely think that, but I think when you look at the type of music that we listening to and making, the way rap was intended, that's where I'm gonna always go back to, is it was an educational tool. You know, we learned a lot through the first versions of hip hop. You know, I go back to Sugar Hill and then Houdini them popped up and the Fat Boys and KRS-One and all these people. And I'm talking about the radio stuff, right? It was still a lot of stuff that was underground, right? But I'm talking about when it went mainstream, this was the radio stuff that we listened to, and it wasn't all that bad. People wasn't talking about killing each other.
The original message was always to have a message that we can decode as a people in the vibrations of the music. Like we used to always hide folk songs, and our songs were little messages to get us through some dark times, and that was what the history of our music was, even though it's developed into hip hop. But what they've turned it to now with people controlling the music.
So tell me this, should rap lyrics be admitted in court as evidence?
I don't think so.
Why?
Because most of the rap, well, I don't want to say most of them, but there are some of them out there that are saying things that they haven't done. It's just like, somebody writing a book. Mm-hmm. Those people writing murder mysteries and stuff, they haven't gone out there and committed that murder.
I agree with you. But the reality of it is, these stories that they're painting right now and the hip hop that they're presenting right now, some of this is in alignment with with some of the prosecutors' cases that are
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
And if you had a loved one in that situation, would you want them to be able to use, if they talk about smoking your loved one, and this is what they talking about, celebrating the death of a child that you birthed, and you hear it in the song all the time, and they're making money off of this now? Would you not want the person who's making money off of it to be prosecuted for the crime, even if they were not the direct person that did it, but they're promoting it on a song? Would you not want it if it was your child? Everybody has two sides to every story.
Mhm.
And I speak about this all the time because we just buried a young kid, and it wasn't from gun violence or anything. He had a terminal illness, but to hear the mothers cry, you can't get over that. To put a 15-year-old in the ground, and if it's one of your children getting assassinated, it's like a daily slaughter going on in these streets with some of these songs and some of these kids. We're losing them at an alarming rate. Something has to be done to stop it, or at least slow it down.
So the issue I have with it is, if I hear about something that happened in the neighborhood and I'm rapping about that particular story, and some of the things I'm saying is real close, just because I'm from Los Angeles and I'm talking about something that happened in Los Angeles, some crooked cop can easily try to tie me to it, or they know I didn't do it but figure this is where I came from, or he from Los Angeles, so let's get him, and then let's get him on a RICO charge because we can gather them all up together, and then let's see who's gonna snitch, who's gonna start talking, and see who we can gather up in this, because I have the money and they think I helped a couple of people around there or give people jobs. Now they're going to tie me to this case. So that's what I worry about. Like, some of the people that's around them areas that's just making music because that's what our people want to hear. At the ultimate goal, I think, is to make better music.
I agree. They're going as
Mhm.
far as to take these legitimate companies and tie them into street life and try and say that these legitimate businesses that do legitimate paying tax businesses are tied into these RICO cases because it makes their case stronger, even then when they know they don't have any evidence to link the two. So it's really a money grab, for one, to stress these young men out. But the young men have to be very aware of the business that they keep in, because it's a part of their game. And the game is not designed for us to win. So we have to move correctly in these streets as far as our businesses go. We can't let our businesses get caught up where they can indict us on a conspiracy case, because what they're putting conspiracy on is anything.
Hey, so Rhonda, do you think this is a hold up in court?
I don't think it will.
So
Um,
look at the newest case that's out with what do they call YSL, the group out of Atlanta, Young Thug and Gunna. I think Gunna just took a plea deal. So with him taking a plea deal, is his lawyer telling him something that might not hold up, to where either they flipped him or decided he should flip on them?
They promised them freedom for sure.
right. And I
Because
don't I don't like us taking plea deals anyway, because but that's their game. That's what they want us to do, is plea out. That way, even if they don't have enough evidence, they still got somebody for that case. And then we're sitting here thinking like, well, if I don't take this, then I could get this. And, they saying they got this, so I may as well take the time, whether I did it or not, you know?
So they're not getting them actually on the case, but they're getting them on a RICO Act, which is something about organized crime, right? Is that what the RICO
Right.
is?
what they're doing is they're getting them to plea down on other crimes and incriminate other people to build up a bigger case on individuals who they've been trying to get off the streets because they feel that they're too influential. So it's a system that's been broken for a long time, that's continuing to work better than it's ever had in the past. So we have young men fighting for their lives. They're sitting there seizing all their assets, and it's like you let them make all this money off of this music, but then this same music that you let them make money off of is what you're going to double back and convict them on.
Hey,
It's like a double jeopardy.
So can rap lyrics prove anything? What can rap lyrics prove?
It proves that they can take your freedom away.
But is that, well, they take our freedom for bullshit all the
Right.
time. That's what I say. So a crooked cop could say, hey, these guys, like, it might be the little brother of some guy. So the little brother started rapping, but just cause I'm the little brother, you're gonna tie me in as the kingpin because I have the money. Right. So
Right.
but can the lyrics really prove anything?
The
No,
lyrics,
I think they still need the evidence. You need hard evidence. You can't go to somebody's rap lyrics because, like I said, I could make up a story right now and start rapping it, and it might match up with something. That don't mean I did it.
Yeah.
but then again, who's letting this art? Who's letting this form of art? Because we're gonna call it artwork. These artists are producing art. Who's in control of this art being produced to the masses, where you and I can hear it? So the people who are producing this music and in control of the system that has this music to the masses, they are the same people controlling the people convicting the same people. It's kind of
Yeah,
like,
I get it, but look, in
Hmm.
2014 in New Jersey, it was New Jersey versus Skinner. There was a case in which they used his lyrics written years before the crime occurred against him. So years before the crime even occurred, they was using it against him. What do you guys think about that?
And then they probably tried to charge him with premeditated murder.
It could be. I can't remember what the case was about, but I believe he got convicted, and
Hmm.
then it was overturned on a appeal.
Right.
mhm.
As it should, because if you don't have the evidence, don't they my thing I think they're just trying to get these cases closed by any means necessary. So if they don't have the evidence, like, oh well, I heard her, somebody rap about this, they had to have been there. You know?
Again, if you have a loved one on the other end of that trigger and you've
No, I
lost
understand
someone,
that.
and
But
it sound like this person, you knew this person, and you know the streets talk, and you
mhm.
hear this person braggadocious or something, and you think it sounds a little bit too accurate, you would want somebody doing everything in their power to get your loved one out of there, or get your loved one closure. But
But closure, even if it's the wrong person that they're prosecuting, is that
I
really closure?
no, it's
Ooh,
not. No, it's
ooh.
not. But then, do you agree with these artists talking about the dead? Do you agree with these artists rapping about people who you know are no longer here, and describing how these people were taken out in a song and laughing about it? Do you agree with
I
the
don't think
whole?
I don't no, I don't like that at all. I don't know, I don't even know why it changed to, well, I do know why it changed. I don't know why
Because
we
they making
let
money
it.
doing it. Because they can let these young men make money doing this type of
Yeah,
music.
but it goes back to all money ain't good money.
According to
So
who?
so so tell me this: would they do the same thing for other genres of music?
Nope.
Absolutely not. It would be
So
without
so that
without even blinking on that.
so,
Everybody said the same
so
thing. Absolutely
I
not. You
know, but
know it.
that guy that say I killed her on the ranch, and you
Yeah.
know what I'm talking. That country music come in with we we
I've
the
heard I've heard some pretty atrocious songs that was in
yeah.
other genres, and they've said some pretty heinous things about that cancel culture today should cancel, talking about abusing a woman and doing some other things. But to me, the way the music is promoted in our culture, what they want our youth to really listen to nod their head to in the morning, is some of the worst, most heinous. things because these are the things that they're making the most money off of.
Okay, so that's kind of another issue within the system of what they promoting, and we know they steered them across that, right? Like they steered it at some point to from it was educational. Like, let's get them off that educational. They teaching each other too much. They got too much unity going on. Let's give it a little thugness to it. So they the West Coast came in. Then let's get them to using a little drugs. Let's get them to talking slang a little more. Right. So that popped in. And then now, okay, now let's get the sexuality into it now. And then now it just they done steered it to this crazy thing to where it's really gang banging on records. And then when I see you in real life, we're gonna gang bang in real life as well. But if they don't do other genres of music that way, are they racial profiling?
Yes.
If we had Britney Spears,
why you say yes, Rhonda? I'll come back to you, Chad. But why you say yes, Rhonda?
Because if you were not going to do it for every genre of music, you can't just do it for rap because most rappers are black.
But see, we ain't gonna have Britney Spears making the songs about Taylor Swift about how she gonna walk her down.
she gonna whoop on her when she sees.
No, but if that was the type of music that they were promoting, then that's the type of music that they should be pumping in our systems. But they're not gonna have that type of music because those type of people sit down and have conversations. We're too emotional to sit down and have conversations, so we act emotionally.
Are people triggering our traumas and it's bringing up more trauma? Because we did an interview earlier today, and the speaker said, "Healed people heal people," but you know what? Hurt people hurt people. Right. So I know we don't like focusing on the problem. So what's the solution behind this stuff?
We have to parent better. We have to adult better. We have to understand what we were dealt, and we had to understand what we made it through and we survived. Take the very best of that, recycle it, and raise better seeds and raise more responsible young adults, and be very present with your youth and meet them where they at. Listen to what they listen to. Explain to them what's good music, and really siphon through the plethora of BS that they got out there.
All right, so suppose I become a writer, right? I write a nice movie. I write a book, then the book become a nice movie, and it fits the description of a crime that took place in one of the local cities. Would they then start coming at the directors and the producers of these movies, or the writer of this movie, saying that I had to be involved with these people because I know this crime too well, or
authors of the books? Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to say this or not.
Yeah, go ahead, say it.
She's the author of the book.
Look, I guess it depends on who the author of the book is. I think it would be a lot of profiling in that as well.
So it would be the same thing. Like, I don't think his book was BS to me for his crimes, but Charlemagne the God had a book, and he talked about him doing something in the book, right?
Yeah.
Can't remember him really getting convicted. The crimes were really minimal, but anyway, he called it thug shit. But if that was the case, where something happened in that book, would they come after Charlemagne?
And that's why I said it depends on, I think, the culture.
Okay, so I'm gonna just put it out there, because some say that even though some of the same stuff that they going after Young Thug about, Young Thug is pretty much independent, right? I think he signed, and now he's independent with all his other artists as his company, right? So I think this industry frown upon that, because these guys are getting smarter and running their own companies and making millions and millions of dollars, to where if you were giving me 5% off of what I brung in, and I bring in 100 million, I only have 5 million. Now guys are getting deals where the other company gets 5% and they get the 95. So if I bring in 100 million, I got 95 of it now, and you only have 5. So, so me having 95, you'll go find a RICO case on me. But the guy that you giving 5%, he could be dirty and he never gets indicted. So that's the crookedness of the system that I speak on, to where how do rap lyrics really work?
Right. And I think if you have that system behind you, I think
we trying to watch what we say, huh?
I ain't watching what I say. I just understand. We're on streaming platforms.
No, that's all good, but so
we're talking the truth, but we're on
one of the
streaming
questions
platforms.
was when does all of this stuff mess with freedom of speech?
You only can say so much, because the truth ain't everybody's truth, and your truth got to match up with what you got to get out there in these streets.
See, that's when the lie, that to me is the lie, because the truth is the truth, no matter how I take it. Right? So if the iPad is black, you say it's white, I say it's brown, Rhonda says black, I'm going with it's white. No, the iPad is black. Right? So the truth got to start back being the truth, and people got to start being comfortable with the truth and not with the lie.
Right.
Nobody's comfortable with the truth, because that means that they might be wrong. And it's certain people that's willing to die about being wrong to say they right.
So look, this is something else I heard. I want to make sure I get it right. Did you guys hear anything that they introducing a bill called the Rap Act? And it's going also the Rap Act is supposed to be some activists trying to get them to stop using rap lyrics against us. And I say us because it's part of my community.
Right. And like I said, I don't think they should be using it anyway. So yes, we should be able to have freedom of speech. We should be able to practice our art without fear of prosecution. But I also think, like, I know Trash was saying about the families. Yes, I don't want my loved one's death being rapped about, being whatever.
Promoting it, talk about they smoking your loved one and all these other ridiculous things that we hear going on in music.
But I don't want us to be prosecuted just off rap lyrics. You need something else. You need to come up with some hard evidence.
It's a fine balance,
because
though.
That's
a fine balance. I'm sorry. That's a fine balance, because the moment you say that you walked up, because the direct lyrics is describing how my loved one was murdered, and you talk about this is artwork and freedom of speech.
So I got
something to say about that.
I think morally that's wrong.
Right.
But it don't make me the killer.
Well, don't rap about it then.
No,
if you're not the killer,
if you're not
the killer and you had absolutely nothing to do with it, then don't celebrate my loved one's tragic demise in a song and make millions off of it.
So tell me this.
This is not art.
So the brother of Richard Ramirez, remember Richard Ramirez that was here in California, breaking in people's houses, raping women and killing people. Anyway, so say if his brother wrote a movie and gave intimate details about what happened, right? People don't jump on them. Like, I ain't trying to make it right for the guys that's saying it. I'm just saying it has to be consistent across the board. Like if he write a book and my brother came to my house and he was bloody, I asked him where the blood come from. Now I know after he got charged with, I didn't know I was helping him by removing the clothes. Do he get charged there because he was within that, right? Like, when do all of that start taking place? The guy that wrote the movies, the guy that, like, anything we do, we can end up in this space where we're getting convicted as a RICO act. So say my son, not my son General from New York, I'm saying my boy, Right. So he goes to college, become a professor. And out of the stories I've told him, out of the stuff he's seen in his community, he's teaching maybe criminal law or something, right? And he's talking about these stories. Do he become part of the RICO Act because he's in my family? Say if I end up getting caught up, but now like, you know what I'm talking about? Do him talking these stories, him writing books behind this stuff, do he get caught up in that, even though he lived a clean life?
See, that's the hard part where I think that's a little bit different than talking about making a celebrational song about getting away with a crime. It's a little bit different. Like when you're making a crime talk about the cops will never find out this, that, and the third, it's a little bit different than when you trying to make a movie reenacting the scene of something. I understand that it can kind of go on. I'm just saying, just some of the music I've heard personally, it's been appalling, and I wouldn't want to hear it talking about my loved one if I know that was my loved one that they were talking about in the song.
Well,
So
I could tell you this. I just turned my son on to Michael Jackson, and he's enjoying the shit out of it, man. I just turned him on after he started wearing me out so hard with Michael Jackson. I had to give him a little Prince. Right, so now he got a cool little mixture, and I'm gonna dip some Earth, Wind, and Fire on him. I'm gonna let him get
have them
cool. But
jazzed up.
yeah. So
You're gonna have them
I'm getting
saucy.
right. So at some point, we do have to take responsibility and manage what our. Hey, that's funny. The same interview we just talked about earlier that I referenced, she talked about managing what you consume. Right. So if I'm consuming, I think they call it drill music, right? Like
Yeah.
I ain't 100%. I'm like I can't stand some of the lyrics, so I don't listen to all that. You're gonna shoot me music and everything is what type of gun you have. Like if you still got some party rap, then I might listen to it. You got some message in your rap, I'm definitely gonna listen to it. Like I've been getting turned on to a few people that's out there, and I'm feeling them like okay, that's some cool music. Right. But somewhere we got to take ownership of the whole industry and take that back, because we're not controlling it. So the people that's controlling the music and wanting us to hear and consume what we consume, that's keeping that cycle of us being bad people or considered
Yeah.
was bad people.
All I
And
know is
it takes me back to what they did with NWA. Like they detained them because of their lyrics. Like,
Yeah.
but it wasn't about us.
Yeah.
They were saying fuck the police.
Yeah.
but
And
see,
you get detained for that. But you let us talk about killing each other and doing all this other stuff, and no problem.
and that's the part where I'm saying, as long as it's directing at us being the most heinous versions of ourselves, it's allowed to be played as number one songs, talking about walking each other down and assassinating each other. So as long as they allow that music to be played and people can get convicted for the music, maybe they'll stop making the music that say that shit. I'm not saying that you don't
we
talk about what's
should.
going on in the community, but how about we stop celebrating that shit?
Yeah, we should. Hey, look, I was listening to this guy speak the other day, and he was saying, hey, why is it that every race of people has a underbelly to their community, some shit that they've done or that they do that's just fucked up in the world, right? Everybody has that. He said, why is all of our stuff that's out there like that get celebrated and promoted and we get paid for it? So that's because they want to promote it to our next generation, right? Like, so at some point we have to take ownership and make better music, not buying better music. I mean, not buying the trash music, not buying the or listening to those streaming platforms. I know I said the trash music. Right?
On the ones and twos, don't
Yeah,
go find me.
yeah. Go find that good music to have our kids listen to, right? I don't know, you guys. What can make this better? And let's close it out with, what do you guys think can change this, or how we can get to some better music and be a better community, have a better place for our kids to live and grow up without this whole I guess I hate to use the black on black violence, but the violence in our community, period.
I think, like Trash always says, we got to get in the mirror. That's where it's going to start. We got to start loving ourselves and loving ourselves enough to better ourselves in our community.
Okay. How about you, Trey?
Man, this is a hard one for me, honestly. I always start in the mirror, like you said, with myself getting better, but we got to be better parents. We got to be better versions of ourselves. We got to be better people in our community. We got to be better neighbors. We got to be accountable. We got a community. We got to talk. We got to have conversations with each other, and we got to do it coming from we're meeting everybody where they at. You can't try and expect somebody else to have your same views on life. You go ahead and meet them where they at, and hopefully we can come to some understanding, understanding, all that love stuff that get us through this shit.
Yeah. For me, I agree with both of you guys. We got to do that mirror work. We got to take care of self and get us better. But you know, Trash, you had mentioned something a little while back about culture, right? I think we need to build a culture that's conducive to life, to living life, right? Like we don't have nothing that we really follow, right? Like the 42 laws of Ma'at, right? Just say if all of us got down to that, and that's what we made sure we taught our kids. Not saying that's what it have to be, right? But I'm just saying now that's the culture, right? All those 42 laws is what we're gonna live by. This is our culture. And then now if we living within that, we don't bring a generation up that's going to have drill music because they live in these laws, right?
We
These
always
laws
gonna have
are
somebody to
embedded.
fall through. We always gonna have crack.
That's different. They can't fall through because everybody in the community is living by these laws. And when somebody fall through, then we deal with it accordingly, right? That's culture.
That's
Right,
culture.
like not changing culture as we speak, right? Like somebody can say, like people saying now, snitching's part of our culture now, right? Like, no, that's not culture. Crime's not part of our culture. We got to get a real culture, right? To where by the age of 5, this what your kids should know. By the age of 10, this what they should know. When they become 18, they should have this, and this, and then they're ready for the world. Because we structurally took them there, right? And that's what we got to get to. And then that's when we building a real culture. Hey, you guys, we got problems, but we also have solutions. And we out.
Peace.
From the team at CRC Empire, we want to thank you for listening. To stay connected with us, like, share, and subscribe to the We Got Problems podcast. You can find us on social media platforms at Curtis Martin 247, at Rhonda Wrights Official, and at the_trash_vegan_. We got problems and we got solutions.